Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the March 27th, 2018 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. Welcome. My name is Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and it's good to have you here. Thank you for showing up. I am just letting you know my allergies have been going crazy, and if I disappear randomly, it's because I have to sneeze. Fighting the urge right now. So hopefully the allergies have not been bothering you as much. I think I'm going to close my window here because it just gets to be a little much. And I also have cats just outside the door, and I'm allergic to them. So hopefully it won't affect the show too much. But I am going to take a quick pause here, because I don't like to snuffle on the air. So there you go. Anyway, welcome. And it is a lovely day in Orlando. It's about 70 degrees now, I believe. I'm going to look it up here for you. 67. On our way up to 78. So if you're planning a vacation to Disney World anytime soon, it should be pretty good. It's going to be in the 80s for the next week, at least. So you never know. We've got all these planetary energies coming in, and my guess is we're going to have a little chilly weather in May, but May is still probably going to be warmer than the rest of the country, unfortunately. For the people who are up north, I talked to someone in Colorado just before the show, and she was asking me just to chit-chat while she was looking something up, when's the last time you had snow? And she didn't know where I lived. And I said, well, it's been since 1989. So I actually came here to visit, and there was snow one year. So I do remember it, believe it or not. Anyway, not since I've lived here. So this week we're going to be talking about Venus. Lovely little Venus. I like Venus. Venus loves us too, actually. So how's the week been for you? Pretty good or pretty difficult? We've got a lot of intense energy still flying through the zodiac. We've got currently, actually I'm going to update my chart because I last opened it at 10:22 and now it's 11 a.m. And we're in Orlando. It's Eastern Daylight Time. Everything's good. So we have a 13-degree Gemini rising here, and it's moon in Leo today within 3 degrees of the North Node. So that's actually a really positive energetic sign, energetic placement. Leo is a fire energy, so wherever it's at, we have kind of a bright light shining because Leo is ruled by the sun. And so the sun gives it kind of a happy, warm energy. And as we all know, Leo is the sign of royalty, and it is the sign of creativity, children, romance, and bright, happy, cheerful people generally as a general rule. And the North Node is the place in the sky. It's a node, which means it's a point in the sky where the path of the moon and the sun cross the earth. So it's on both sides of the earth. One's a north node, one's a south node. I'm not getting into it too deeply here today, but basically it's an imaginary point in the sky, and it is at 13 degrees Leo. And so it's right near the moon, and that means that you've combined energy of creativity and nurturing, home, family, children, and also fortune. So the South Node is what we bring in, and from the past, what we know and understand, which is humanitarianism today, because the South Node is in Aquarius, and the North Node is in Leo, so it's about children. And it's about nurturing because of the moon. And so we're going to want to spend time in a playful place and probably around home if you are in tune to the moon. I personally, it's interesting because as my path in astrology developed, I didn't do a lot of moon astrology. And the further along I've gotten into my career, the moon affects me in my chart very strongly, and I never really pursued it because my path of astrology has always been what interested me and what led from one thing to another. And so I just, as I was learning about this concept, another one would come up. So I pursued that. And then I just keep doing it until I finally got to a point where when I first was doing astrology, I looked at all the numbers on the chart and I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I didn't realize at the very beginning, because I was 12, I didn't realize that you could just go 30, 60, 90, or you just know by sign that they're naturally that way. As a longtime professional, I can look at a chart and go, oh yeah, that's 30, that's 60, that's 120, whatever, and that's a trine, that's a sextile. I just do it visually, which is honestly how I learn math too. I do everything visually. So looking at the chart and developing over time, I didn't really focus on the moon per se because I was going after other concepts. And the moon very strongly affects us as a general rule because it's so close to us. The sun and the moon are the strongest heavenly bodies that affect us in our day-to-day lives. And I have the moon in the first house of identity. So, of course, I'm going to be very transient with my emotions. And that's what happens with the moon is you get the moon going through a sign, and every 2.5 days, it changes a sign. So if you're a Cancer or have moon in the first house or close to your sun, you're going to feel that. And so today, it's a bubbly, buoyant energy. Yesterday was good for me because I have Venus in Leo. So yesterday the moon was conjunct my Venus, and today it's in the middle of my career house. So it's spotlighting that. If you have the moon in your career house today, it will be spotlighting you as well. So the moon is squaring to Jupiter in Scorpio. That means that he is 90 degrees away from Jupiter in the sky above our planet. And Jupiter is a very strong, intense planet. He's, intense in Scorpio, I should say. He isn't generally really intense, although he is very large. He is influencing us in the Scorpio part of our charts, and that is death, rebirth, transformation. Jupiter itself is a planet of transformation, and it can bring you to your higher place. Interestingly, it's kind of a dichotomy being in Scorpio, which brings you to your lower place. So you're right now kind of in the dark place, especially retrograding. He acts more like a taskmaster and says, okay, get your shit together. Pardon my language, but get your ish together. And it's in psychology. It's in the deep recesses of our minds. So we're going back over the degrees between 23 and 13. And that means that we'll be understanding the things that we don't want to let go of, because those are the middle degrees, and they're really not. Today I'll clarify. Today it's at 22. Jupiter's at 22, which means he is into the last decan of Scorpio, which is the Pisces area. So that's more of the area that we are transforming in, and we will move into the Scorpio energy at the end of the year. It's the very last degrees. But as he retrogrades, he will be back in the middle 10 degrees, which is from 10 to 20. And that means the part of our lives where we don't want to let go of something, where we're steadfastly stubborn about what it is we believe, and our own deep psychology, which can translate to what we brought in from another life or our current life with our family and all the dynamics of our family and our psychology around that. And so we're going to be really this year, it's about grunging and digging up all of those deep issues that we have refused to change that are really holding us back. And psychologically, we need to shift. And we may not know how to do that. This energy is falling in my first house, literally right on my moon Neptune conjunction. So it is hidden in some aspects from me in my personal chart. And if you were born in the 60s, you also have Neptune in Scorpio. If you were born in the 80s, late 80s into the 90s, you have Pluto in Scorpio. So you are also going through a really deep psychological house cleaning. We've got Mars in Capricorn at 5 degrees. We have Saturn at 8 degrees within 3 degrees of Mars. So Mars approaching Saturn. And I'm going to just look that up. I may not be able to. I'm trying to do it the quickest way possible here. And I could go and look for when it actually does conjunct. But it's probably going to be quicker for me to just look it up. So it's going to be the first day of April, really, any time the last week, later on this weekend and into the beginning of next week, we're going to have Mars conjunct Saturn, which means it's going to be intense. It's going to be the figure in your life who says, what are you doing with your life? Why aren't you getting on board with the structure of humanity? We are a material world. This is the real world. Get off of your Neptunian daydreams. Ironically, Saturn is approaching a sextile to Neptune, which means that they are going to be talking a lot more clearly to each other. But right now, Mars is probably more of the influential character, and also Pluto at 21 Capricorn, which means we have action and drive around Capricornian energy. So we are putting more energy into structure, into the authority in our own lives. We're learning how to have authority within our own lives, because historically Capricorn takes ownership for everybody and not just themselves. But now Saturn's saying, yeah, but what about you? You can't just take ownership of everyone else's stuff. It's also about you. So that's what we're doing. We're learning how to own our own stuff. And so this weekend is going to be kind of a culmination of that, a peak point. Mars is also sex. It's also sex drive and the masculine energy. And then Saturn is ownership of it and karma. So Mars joining Saturn means we are having karma around male energy, around men. They are, honestly, if you look in the news, they're being taken to task for their male expression. And I'm not negating that. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that's, in the non-emotional sense of the word, men being taken to task for their male energy. That's what it is. Pluto is also in sextile to Jupiter right now. Pluto's within 1 degree of a sextile to Jupiter. As Jupiter's retrograding, Jupiter is actually moving back into the sextile, even though he's behind Pluto. Usually the faster moving planet approaches the sextile or approaches the aspect, and Jupiter is the faster moving planet, but he's not going direct, he's going retrograde, which means he's already passed a direct sextile or 60 degrees to Pluto, and now he retrograded, so he's coming back to say, hey, I've got more to say on this matter. Again, Jupiter and Scorpio, both energies are about sex, about power and control, government, intrigue, things that were hidden, and also scandal. So, and in the later degrees, although he is moving back out of the later degrees, being 22, he's not 28, 26, where I consider that to be a more fraudulent aspect, especially as the moon's moving there. I do want to say the moon later today will be moving into a square with Jupiter, and he is technically in square by 8 degrees either side. So we'll probably hear something more fraudulent today, or another sex scandal, or more about the current sex scandal. But it is the not telling of the truth. It's just the energy assigned to that particular aspect between Leo moon and, well, it doesn't have to be Leo moon. It could be any kind of planetary energy squaring Leo to Scorpio. It's just where that type of event comes out in the public eye. So, definitely today going to be a rockin' and rollin' day around scandal and fraud. Anyway, we're moving on, but Pluto is also the ruler of Scorpio, and he's in positive aspect to Jupiter. So this is, even though it can be a difficult energy, and I can tell you right now, I am so sensitive, having all this Scorpio and moon energy in my chart. I'm so sensitive to what's going on. My ruling planet from my sun in Virgo is Mercury, and Mercury retrograde in Aries it's just really kind of throwing me over the top around what's been thrown at me in my life and in emotional energy. So it's pretty intense, and I like to watch the news, but I can't even very much at all right now. I mean, I may just get the headlines or even go online to see what the headlines are, but it's intense. So if you're having that intensity in your life, you're right in line with what's going on astrologically. But Pluto being the ruler of Scorpio and in positive aspect to Jupiter in Scorpio, it is a positive transformation. There are going to be difficulties with structural transformation because we do have the cluster of planets called a stellium in Aries. And I'll get to that in a second. I just want to touch on going around the chart. And the next energy is Neptune. Neptune is in conjunct the moon today as well. He is at 14 degrees Pisces, and the moon is at 16 Leo. So that means they're not in happy aspect to each other. They're 150 degrees apart. And it means they're not being directly confrontational, and they're not being directly cooperative. They are in that uncomfortable area where they disagree and they cannot find commonality, which sometimes, or a lot of times, you can actually find positive commonalities in a square or an opposition. But in inconjunct or 150 degrees, it's like we're just never going to find that area. It just doesn't work. So we are having and interestingly, they both rule emotional nurturing areas. The moon rules Cancer by nature, but in Leo, she's fiery and she wants to fight. So she's kind of resisting what Neptune is trying to have her do. And Neptune going direct. Oh, you did not do that. Okay, sorry. Mercury retrograde, you never know if you're going to get cut off on a program, but my computer just went to sleep. That's all it was. It freaked me out because it looked like it went dead completely. Anyway, Neptune is very emotional and sensitive. The moon is also usually normally emotional and sensitive, but today the moon is in a different position. The moon is in fire, and she is speaking to all the Aries energy. And the Aries energy is masculine, but it is also feminine today because Venus is in Aries. So what we have is 16-degree moon in conjunct to Neptune, but also talking positively to Mercury. So there's going to be a lot of rattling of cages, and you need to do this because I say so, that kind of energy where it's like, I'm in charge, I'm the boss, I'm the figurehead, I'm the drama central figure, which is the moon in Leo, the person who is ahead and leading everything, but very emotional today and very indignant about challenge to authority today. And then also, because the fire signs tend to be a little bit more channeling of the childlike energy, the energy where it's about the emotion in the moment and the tantrum, all of the Aries energy is pretty much ready for a fight and a little tantrum. We have Sun at 6 degrees Aries, Mercury retrograde at 15. We have Venus at 25 talking to Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of understanding and awareness, clarity. And Venus is within 2 degrees of that. So Venus is the feminine energy in our world. It could be a woman or it could be a sister. It could be usually I see it more as a peer, not necessarily mother, but she can connect to the mother and represent mother energy. So today she kind of does represent motherly energy because she's in positive aspect to the moon. Now the sun is also coming into Aries, so we're really feeling masculine energy, but it's being channeled through the feminine today. So women are being more in their own power, and they're speaking up for themselves. And because we have Mars, the ruler of Aries, in Capricorn, which is a feminine sign, joining Saturn, which is the father figure of the zodiac, but it's also in the feminine sign, and Pluto, which is a very powerful energy, considered as the ruler of Scorpio to be a feminine planet by expression in Scorpio. It's in also a feminine Capricorn, but they're all about power and they're masculine Mars energy. So it is really this arising of women and how they are expressing, but they're expressing it in a masculine form. So it's not like they're expressing through femininity. They're not saying, let's talk about beauty and makeup and dresses, which is very stereotypically feminine, receptive energy, intuitive, emotional. They're very much driven, acting out, wanting to take action, being loud and, demanding, the fist pounding on the table, wanting to be heard, and using the masculine form of energy to be heard, to be expressive. So that's going on in our lives. And then at the same time, we have an inconjunct finger of God aspect going to the moon between Neptune and Pluto. Again, major change. This aspect today, of all days, is probably one of the more powerful energies I've seen around women wanting to call the shots and be in control. It is a fated point because of the North Node and Moon in Leo today, and both of them speaking kind of up against two very powerful energies of Neptune and Pluto, but they're also having a discussion between themselves about where to go and what the dream is, what the vision is for the new structure, which we haven't completely found yet. Probably we will see a lot more of that this August, July into August, when the sun hits that point. So anyway, remind me about that. But yeah, so Venus, she's got a lot of energy coming up. And like I said before, my daily planner that I did at the beginning of the year, I went week to week and entered in aspects and things that I wanted to touch on as I go by each week on the show. And what I've written here, Uranus is conjunct Venus coming up Wednesday, which is tomorrow, at 8:47 p.m. So that means she is culminating that energy of understanding and clarity around her role integrated with power and the male storyline. So it's a very strong energy. It's around autonomy, speaking one's truth, and being in your own personal power as a woman, or understanding from the male perspective what women are trying to say and to express. And it's about community and humanitarianism around that community. The moon enters Virgo tomorrow at 30 a.m. Moon is also trining Venus tomorrow at 4:33 a.m. So it is kind of a culmination overnight tonight of a lot of emotional energy, probably also associated with the March for Our Lives that happened last weekend. And then we have the Sun squaring Saturn tomorrow, or Thursday. So that's also going to be this ego pushback that we don't want to do what the authority tells us to do. And honestly, this is kind of an interesting thing that I want to touch on real quick. When you have a shift and change in society, like all these planets going through Aries or all these planets going through Capricorn, you have the expression of each of those individual planets saying, hey, pay attention to this Capricorn energy, pay attention to this Aries energy. We are seeing and feeling the energy of those signs. Not only are we feeling the energy of them, but especially with Capricorn, we are having planets transit through it so we understand it, but they are also helping change the dogma and change how we see the natural archetype of that particular sign. So there are people who are Capricorns who have always expressed this sense of responsibility, but Pluto is saying, hey, children born with Pluto and Capricorn have a lot of power around responsibility. But at the same time, as Pluto transits through there and then enters Aquarius, kind of like, yeah, we did that energy and now we're expressing this energy. So it's a transient as well as an energy that is being set into society through the birth of the children who are born under this energy. So it's really an interesting, dimension to each of the signs that we not only express it fully, but are in the process of changing it and making it something else. So it is itself, and it is also in the process of morphing. So I hope that came across clearly what I was trying to say with that. And then Saturday we have, actually there's a couple more energies. We have Moon in Libra at 1:52 on Friday, which is Good Friday. And then we have Venus go into Taurus. This is really significant this year because, of course, this degree is going to be seen again when Uranus goes into Taurus on May 15th. So we're a very short going on 7 weeks away from Uranus going into Taurus. Venus will go there. She's going out in front of Sun, out in front of Mercury and Uranus and all the change. And she's going to start to break some rules. And she's also in charge of money and finances and the markets and beauty and fashion. Everything I say, music, beauty, fashion, art. So all these things are going to see more of an awakening and a renaissance and an eccentricity coming in May as Uranus gets closer and closer. And remember, he's still right at the end degrees of Aries. So he's right on the tail of Venus going into Taurus. So this Friday, actually it's overnight. So Saturday morning in the Eastern time zone, Venus goes in at 12:54 a.m. And Friday night in Pacific, it's 9:54 p.m. And of course, if you're in England, it's at around 6 a.m. You're going to feel it. So really strong energy. And that day also, Saturday, there's a full moon in Libra. So Venus rules Libra. She also rules Taurus, but she does not get along with both signs at the same time because Taurus is in conjunct to Libra. So it's going to be an interesting energy because we have that Libra moon, and then we also have Venus in Taurus, and the full moon culminating was the story from the new moon. And the new moon, I'm going back, was in Aries. And so now we're going to have the full moon in Libra, opposite sign. So it is a culmination of a story around self, getting into the expression of romance and love and partnering. So, the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra, have been really having a story for the last 3 years at least, probably closer to 5 with the Pluto and Capricorn and Uranus and Aries energy squaring each other. And it's going to continue every time we have these planets move into Libra, move into Cancer. It's going to round out or square out some of that cardinal cross we've been seeing. And of course, now we have 3 planets in Capricorn and 4 planets in Aries today, squaring off. It is an uncomfortable shift towards a new future. It really is. And the last thing I want to say is about Uranus, and that is Uranus is a new energy of not necessarily knowing what the future holds, which is highly uncomfortable to people who are Capricorn or have strong Capricorn in their chart, or most of us right now with all the Capricorn going on, because Capricorn is about knowing the outcome, because they do the same thing over and over. They know the outcome. Aries and Uranus in Aries does not know the outcome. It is uncomfortable. It is the future way that we're going to be learning. Pluto in Aquarius will not necessarily know from minute to minute what's going on, because Aquarius's nature is changeable. And so I'll leave you with that. No, I'm not leaving the show. I'm just going to a break. Then we're going to take calls on the other side break, and we've got a few people waiting, and I'm excited to talk to you. But continuing the story this week of that cardinal energy shift and change, it is about structure, is it about independence and autonomy, and it is also about how you relate to other people in your own power. So really strong week. And let's see, I'm going to go to Bria Schoenberg, and then we'll be back in a little bit.
The other day said you were sorry for something that I didn't even think twice. You felt so bad that you couldn't be around, but I gotta say it was kind of nice to be by myself. There's no rules, you don't have to open my door, put your heart back on the shelf, don't act too cool. I want more. No, I don't want to love you forever. Leave me in the back of your mind. out on the town. You smell so fine, you even know how to order wine. And you look me in the eye to know what's on my mind. But that's not your concern. There's no rules. I'm not one that likes to keep score. Nothing lost, nothing learned. Don't be a fool. For I won't want more. No, I don't want to love you forever. Leave me in the back of your mind. No, I don't want to love you forever. Leave me in the back of your mind. 'Cause it is what it is. Just is what it is. It is what it is. Just is what it is. And it ain't what it ain't. Just is what it is. It is what it is. It just is what it is. Tell me what it is. Before too long, no, I don't want to love you. No, I don't want to love you. I don't want to love you. No, I don't want to love you. Said I don't want to love you. No, I don't want to love you. Just keep me high. Keep me in the back of your mind. Keep me in the back of your mind.
Bria Schoenberg's new CD, So Is the Day, can be found at randomactrecords.com.
I think you and the moon and Neptune got it right. 'Cause now I'm shining bright.
Hi, this is Shelley Overton, the host of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. Each week, I bring you lots of information about planetary transits, what to expect in the coming week, and take questions from listeners. If you are interested in donating to continue the benefit of learning all about the planets and astrology, you can do so at my new Patreon page. You can find it at www.patreon.com/AstroShelley. That is patreon.com/AstroShelley. Please don't feel any obligation, but I really appreciate you, and thank you so much for listening.
I think you and the moon and Neptune got it right. 'Cause now I'm shining bright.
Well, I think I have a little to alter on that that little clip, so we'll take care of that later. You're listening to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show with me, Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and if you are interested in getting a private reading from me, you can do so at astrologerangel.com. So let's see who we have waiting to call in. Let's see, 484. Hi, who is this?
Hi, my name is Tonette. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi, Tonette. Have you called the show before? You're welcome.
I have not. This is the first time I found your show.
Oh, lovely. I'm so happy you found us. Great. So why don't you give me your
Yeah.
birth information, and then I can find out what you would like to have me look at.
Okay, my date of birth is 8/29/74.
Okay. And what time, if you know it?
Around 2 o'clock
Okay, is that AM or PM?
p.m.
Okay, and where were you born?
Philadelphia, PA.
Okay, wonderful. So what can I do for you today?
I'm having some difficulty. I really need to know the truth about a situation. I'm involved with another female by the name of Desiree. She is an Aquarius.
Okay.
She decided on March 13th to stop all correspondence with me, texting, phone calling. She just fell off the map. She was supposed to move in with me. We were supposed to move forward in a relationship and situation, and have not heard. I mean, I've heard, one or two texts like, "Oh, I didn't feel like talking," or "No, you were accusing me," and then she's like, "Well, I'm talking to this guy in New Jersey, and I might go down and see him, and I'm not tied to nobody," and just some weird stuff. So I sent her a text yesterday, and I was like, "Listen, I can't live like this. You don't want to you respond. You don't want to do nothing. So I'm leaving the situation."
Well, sad. I'm sorry that happened. Interestingly, Venus and Uranus are joined up right now, and that was literally right between the Jupiter retrograde and the Mercury retrograde. It was within a couple days of a new moon. I mean, there's a lot going on this month, but let me see here. Basically, what I'm getting though is that two things. First off, Venus is coming up on Uranus, which is a very eccentric, unexpected energy. So you never know what you're getting. And then the other thing is, and Venus rules females. Uranus honestly rules her because she's an Aquarius, and it's a ruler of Aquarius. So it's for you particularly, it's coming out of your chart in romance, and it's also the point of your particular wounding in your chart, which means it's the part of your life where it's triggering the place where you are most deeply wounded. And Chiron is the energy of that. So Chiron in your chart's 24 Aries, Venus at 25, Uranus at 27. I mean, this is kind of a destined thing to happen, honestly. And I want to encourage you on two fronts. First off, it is her nature because she's an Aquarius, okay? And it is also the nature of the transit, and it's also in your chart. But we're also going through this time of understanding relationships. And for you, you have Aries in your house of home and family, and also jumping over into romance. So that Aries energy is strongly affecting you in that part of your life. So Aries is aggression and assertiveness, so which really is good that you spoke up for yourself and said, hey, this doesn't work for me anymore. And that's what Mercury retrograde is doing for you. It's like, no, going back over like, I can't do this. And so you're really clear about it, and that's what Uranus does. So
now, do you feel like she's going to make a comeback? Because I've had I had a tarot card reader tell me that she's actually going to be moved in my house by the end of the week.
I want to tell you, definitely there is that fickleness of Uranus and fickleness of Aquarius and also fickleness of Mercury retrograding. So you were already in the shadow period of the Mercury retrograde. And I want to get this out really quick because you called to find out. Mercury retrograde means that we pull back one direction, we change our minds, and then we go back forward. When it goes forward in the middle of April, it's going to be going back over the same territory and saying, wait a minute, I've changed how I think about it, and now I'm going to culminate a different story. So yes, I do think that she's going to go back and forth. I do think that's a very strong possibility with her. I think that, let me look in your chart. You've got Jupiter in Pisces, you've got Moon in Aquarius. So Moon is how you're nurtured. You attract that. So what's her birthday? Just quickly. I'm not going to do a chart. I'm just going to go by her sun.
2/13/75.
Okay, so she's a late Aquarius, and she's going to be, well, later, like so around 20. So that falls in your house of communications, and it is also, she has Sun in Aquarius, you have Moon in Aquarius. So you have that side of your nature in you, and it's also running, your Moon is in the house of love, the Venus house, which is the second house. So you attract partners like that. So what's going on is it's up to you whether or not you let her in. And I can tell you, if she does move in the next couple of weeks, you're probably going to change your mind and something else. Either she will or you will, and you're not going to want to have it that way. I think that after this weekend, Venus is going to go past Uranus and go into Taurus, like I said, and that will change the dynamic somewhat. It'll be a little bit more grounded, and then Venus, instead of answering to fire signs, will be answering to herself. She'll basically be saying, I don't have to answer to the other energy, like the other, so male, female, or masculine, feminine, or the traditional view of love, but she'll be going, I'm going to do my own thing. So that could also be you. It can be her or it could be you, because you're both that feminine energy. But for you, it's transiting. Initially, Venus will be in positive aspect to your first house of self, where you're going to definitely feel that Mars at 5 degrees. So you're going to feel power to speak your mind, and you're not going to necessarily be like, I don't care about hurting feelings necessarily. I'm going to go do me because you're not helpful here. And she may say the same thing to you, so just know that that's part of the energy. But at the same time, Mars is moving into conjunction with Saturn, which is ownership of things. Venus will also be moving into it. Basically, what I'm telling you is this energy is going to make or break this relationship, and it could be contentious. So it's like you're both cleaning out all the stuff of how you see things, and if there's something good there, it's going to gel, because that Saturn energy, Venus will be trining Saturn, and Mars is approaching that Saturn, so it could gel. But if her energy is ultimately somewhere else, she could also go. So I would say you need to kind of wait it out and see where it falls, because it is very unpredictable. And that being said, I'm not necessarily going to predict which way it will fall, good or bad. But and we dropped our caller, but that was pretty much the culmination of what I had to say to her, unless she calls back in. So I'll just that particular chart off to the side in case I have to wrap it up, and we'll take another call. 817. Hi, 817. How are you?
Well, hey, Shelley. How are you?
Is it Nancy? Hi, Nancy. What can I do for you today?
It's my birthday in 2 days, and I just thought I'd check in the last.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. The last several months now have been just a whirlwind. Lots of traveling, lots of running around. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I took a real estate course and was hoping to get the license and maybe start doing that on the side, and I just kept getting derailed and haven't done it yet. So I don't know if maybe it's not meant to be in the future. And,
it is. It is meant to be. It's just not meant to be until either Jupiter goes direct, which I think is July. I want to say off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure it's July. Yeah, July 10th. Or until the end of the year. So if you take the class, I would say July 10th and beyond, you'll probably do it.
I took the course. I haven't taken I haven't taken the exam. I took the course.
Okay.
I just haven't taken the.
So the exam can be taken. I would recommend it after Jupiter goes direct, just because it's going to help you with the educational side, because Jupiter rules education. So it'll be more of a culmination, and you'll have an intuition because it's in Scorpio. So you'll be able to pull on that information right away. And then at the end of the year in November, Jupiter goes into Sagittarius, which in my interpretation is the real estate segment of the zodiac, and it's in your house of money from career, which is the 11th house. So Jupiter in its own sign at the end of the year, your career will take off then for real estate. So
I like that.
Recommend
I like it.
that.
Well,
so,
good. It's good to hear. I like that. Yeah, there's that's all the big planets hitting my first house and all that. I know there's been a lot of shifting and such. So I figured and
third house. The third house Aries stuff is also the travel stuff, because third house likes to keep on the move as well, and that's where all your Aries is action taking. And then Mars is in your 12th, so you're probably bogging down with some feeling of responsibility, but that's going to change too. Within the next month, Mars will be in your first house, and then you'll feel much better, much stronger. And there is a change coming with career. When that Mars hits Pluto in your first house on your natal Saturn, it's 7 degrees. Pluto's at 21 and your natal Saturn's at 28. So those 7 degrees between the two will be pretty strong for you this year. And I'll tell you when that is real quick. So, Mars gets 21 on the 26th of April through let's see, roughly the second week of May. Really strong time for some shifts for you. You're going to gel a whole new way in your personality. Like your psychology is going to be hit. Like you're going to be asked to take action based on some of the shifts and changes you've been wanting to make and that you've been really toying with psychologically and career-wise. So it's probably what you said about the career in real estate. And again, Capricorn is the structure and the physical reality of something. So when Mars gets into your first house, you're in that fire energy of Aries in the first house. And so that's when you're really going to take off. Right now, you're bogged down with Mars in your 12th and conjunct Saturn. Yeah, it does. Yeah. You're just like, bleh. But it's going to take off. And yeah, I'm personally also like real estate starting to appeal to me right now as well. And my second house of money is Sagittarius. So I'm like, maybe I should take some real estate courses. I don't know. We'll see. I really love astrology and art, but you never know. Maybe that's where I belong. I could flip houses.
Do it all. Well, you can
I already feel that way. Yeah.
Do charts, list a house and such like that.
I do, yeah, and let me tell you, as a little hint for selling a house, get the moon. So when you post a house for sale, you have the chart, the first house ruler and the seventh house ruler. If you can get those rulers in positive aspect to each other, where they're in cooperation, and then you want to put the moon in an approaching positive aspect to the sale, either the seller or the buyer. So that's how you kind of work that. And I could probably do another show discussion about it, but that's a quickie in a nutshell how to look at selling houses astrologically.
Awesome. You have it figured out.
Well, you know, I study horary astrology too, and I love horary because it's the type of astrology you go to when you ask a question like, when should I sell my house? And that kind of gives you a lot of insight into timing. So, and it's HORARY, horary, like on the hour. That's what it means. So it's deciding when the right timing is. So, okay.
Right. Great. Okay, thanks, Shelley. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good talking to you. Take care. Let me know how it goes. Okay, bye. Okay, you're welcome. Let's see if I can hang up. There we go. And let's take an internet caller. Hi, it's 111 Skype. How can I help you?
Hi, Shelley. This is Jane. I'm calling from Canada. How are you doing?
Hi, Jane from Canada. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Let me see. Have you called the show before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I'm looking for you, and there it is. I see. It's June 18th, 1970, correct? Okay, awesome. I've got you right here. That really helps. I can just quickly whip out the charts. So, okay, what can I do for you?
Okay. Do you see a job change within the next few months? I'm ready to make a change. I'm so unhappy where I currently work.
Aw. Yeah, well, you have Jupiter in your house of work, and it's retrograde right now, which again is the psychology of the workplace, and you have Neptune in Scorpio also at 28. So I know, let's see, soon, near future, the only planet going through your career right now and also your work house, well, you've got two. You've got Jupiter and you've got Neptune. Jupiter's in your house of work and Neptune's in your house of career. So what you're doing is you're really gelling what you want to do for your life, what you feel about it. Changing careers is a possibility as well. And the reason I say, and I don't know if you've already been on that path, I would say in the last 8 years, maybe 6 years, you've had Uranus in your house of money from career, and also the people that you associate with your career networking and your soul group. And so being that Uranus is about to get out of Aries and go into Taurus in that same house, you're shifting your soul group and you're shifting where you want to be. So you're feeling, I want to do my own thing, but it's been the fire to do something, but it hasn't necessarily been the material, tangible getting to do it. And that's going to change come May. You'll have the opportunity, and Jupiter, again, in July, Jupiter goes direct, and that's going to help you manifest your dreams, because between the time he goes direct and the end of the time in Scorpio, which is November, he's going to hit your Neptune in your house of work, and you are aligning yourself with your dream and with the way you want to earn money in this life that you're here to do, because Jupiter on Neptune is basically expansion of your dream and the ideal work environment. That's what you're aiming for. Let me see about Mars. Mars is, again, coming up on Saturn. So for right now, he's more about doing things the traditional way and with other people because he's in your house of partnership. It's also the house of marriage. So I don't know if you're seeing someone or are you married or not married?
No, I'm actually single.
Single. Okay, well, there's a really strong drive to kind of culminate the marriage story for you, and you really want that. Mars is saying, this is really the direction I want to go in. If you don't have someone who manifests that currently, there is a chance when Mars gets into Capricorn later degrees and hits your Pluto in the house of commitment. So I'm kind of, do you have someone you're dating? Do you have anyone that could be a potential partner for you?
No, I'm not currently dating.
Not right now?
So someone coming in? No, not at all. Someone coming in?
I think you're going to have someone. I think the Uranus in Taurus, the thing with that is you're going to meet someone from like the career, and this is what I want to tell you about that. Someone's coming in who will show you the kind of thing that you want to be doing, the venue, the career choice you really want to go towards. He's going to be, or she, I don't know which one, he's going to be, I'll just say he, for bringing in, he's going to be a person who will show you a part of yourself that you need, the missing piece, okay? He's going to show you the tangible side of what it is you want to do. You have Saturn at 17 Taurus. It's in your 12th house of the subconscious, so it's in there. What it is you've got this subliminal thing going, I really like to do this. This is what I want to do, but I don't know if I could, and it's kind of a dream, and it hasn't really been triggered yet. Uranus is going to trigger it. The person coming into your life is going to trigger it. There may also be a woman coming in just because Venus is going into Taurus, and she'll be there joining up with your Saturn before Uranus will, but Uranus is going to start showing you that story this year. So you're going to feel like, okay, now I have more of a tangible thing to fight for and to aim for. And as Venus goes into trine with Mars and then Saturn, it may be Saturn-Mars. I think it's probably going to be Saturn-Mars because I don't think Venus will get to Mars before Mars passes Saturn. So you'll have Venus trining Saturn, then Venus trining Mars. So that means you're going to have the vision and know what you need to do, but you may not take the action until Venus gets a little bit farther into Taurus. So anyway, I mean, I could go into this in great depth, even more so than I've told you right now, but I still want to get to a couple more callers. So if you have more questions about it and fleshing it out, I could look deeper into it on a private call. But anyway, there is some shift changing. Go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
Good. So you said May. Is that do you think by May I'll get some actually change jobs?
Are you looking to go to work for someone else or work for yourself?
Looking, for a job.
For another job. There's going to be something coming in. Mercury will get into Taurus on the very day that Uranus goes into Taurus. They both are joined jumping into Taurus, and that's communication and awareness. So if you're putting out the feelers, I would wait until after the middle of April, which is when Mercury goes direct. If you start putting out feelers, then you'll hear about it by May 15th. So,
really? Okay. Oh, that's great. That's good to know. That's great. Thank you so much, Shelley.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Good. Yeah, my pleasure. Bye. Good talking to you. Take care. Okay, bye.
Bye. You too.
Thanks. Okay, 650. Hi, 650. How are you? This is Mooney.
Good. How are you, Shelley? Thank you.
Good.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. It is Mooney, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Thank
wonderful.
you so much for remembering. Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure. What can I do for you?
How far in advance are you booked for reading? How far in advance do you do?
Right now, I've got some openings. So if you email me privately, I can send you 3 different openings. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And we could get
your email is on your website?
It's Shelley, SHELLEY, at astrologerangel.com.
Cool. Okay, will do.
Yeah.
I need some info.
Awesome.
But while
Yeah.
I've got you on the line,
Sure.
I am starting. I thought about jobs and my thesis. It's such a mess up. It turned out after I turned in my proposal, it was approved and all of that, that the department was not approved for the thesis. So I had to take the first phase of 3 comprehensive exams. I did that, and now I'm on course to complete the second phase and third phase of the comprehensive exams. But now I've been informed that the thesis has been approved, but it will be available in the fall. So I'm like between 2 worlds right now, and I need to know if I should hold off till the fall or if I should attempt to complete the MA this semester. This
I would
my
say
whole
hold
world
off.
Upside down. Really?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry to hear that, but Jupiter retrograded in your house of education. So, and not only that, but he retrograded within 2 degrees of your Mars at the midheaven. So your Mars was like, yeah, let's do it, go. And then he's like, yeah, we're going to do it.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, changed my mind. No, can't happen right now. So he goes direct. Yeah, I know. He goes direct in July, like I said, July 10th, I think I said. Right around July 10th. And he gets back to, let's see how long before he gets to your midheaven at 25, or your Mars. So he joins back up with your Mars because he starts to go really fast after he goes direct. That's the nature of Jupiter in October, which is true. It is fall. And he'll join your Mars around the 16th, 17th of October. So I would say what they said is accurate. I don't see that that's necessarily going to change. Let me see if what's Mars doing? Mars is in Aquarius in October. So Mars really isn't going very far this year. He's only going to do Capricorn and Aquarius. So you're really not going to have much else trigger that until the sun gets there, which the time Jupiter gets there, the sun will be there as well, and that's going to shine the light on it. So I'm sorry it put a wrench in your plans, but it's probably not going to culminate until the fall. I think it's true.
Oh, so I've been doing all this, just wasting spinning wheels. Yes, taking classes, paying. Oh my goodness. Okay, so better to hold off. Are you saying if I were to proceed, I would fail, or because
I'm thinking that you would end up doing it again anyway, because Jupiter's retrograde. It won't go direct until July. Then after he goes, he'll go back over the same territory. So if you do it now, you're just going to end up doing it again. That's the nature of retrogrades.
Okay, so I'm meeting with a counselor tomorrow to do a timeline, and I guess now with their input. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But,
well, I
definitely
would definitely
so I can turn it into a job, and all I'm doing is tutoring. Like, I need a real job. Do any of that?
Well, Mars is on Venus right now. Vesta, which is the kind of difficult person, is also trailing right there, and she's in education. So when it goes, I would say you do have some potential for a real job, quote unquote, real job, because all the Capricorn energies in your house of money from career, with Mars approaching Saturn. Mars is action, Saturn is ownership and structure. So, yeah, I do think that you can if you put in an application. But the difficulty right now is that square to Mercury. If you can even wait a couple weeks, you'll have Mars right there on your Mercury, and then Mercury will be direct, and I think that's more of a opportunity for you to actually do something with a company or in a more traditional setting. Okay, so let me just see real quick when Mars gets to 11 degrees Capricorn.
I got referred.
So April.
I got referred to an April.
A couple weeks.
April? Not so bad. So if I were to apply now, it would be too soon? Is that what you're saying?
I would say if you apply to any new endeavor during a Mercury retrograde in Aries, you're going to end up doing it again, and things will change, and it won't necessarily culminate the way you want it to. I honestly, I would wait till after, if you can even wait into April 15th. That's when Mercury goes direct. Mars will still be in Capricorn approaching Pluto, which is major life change in your house of money from career and networking with people. I think it will definitely help you. Okay?
Cool.
So,
all right.
yeah.
Well, I will email you, and then maybe we can schedule some more in depth.
Great. I would love to talk to you.
Oh, thank you.
Anyway,
Thank you, Shelley.
yay. You're welcome.
Awesome.
My pleasure. Good
so
talking
much.
to you.
I'll talk to you
Take
soon.
care. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that's the end of the show this week, and I look forward to talking with you again next week. I'm sorry to the person waiting who I didn't get to, so we'll talk to you next week. If you call in early, you can be right at the beginning. And anyway, that's the end of the show. Take care. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.